Yo, what's good? It's your boy Derek Branch here, SportsView360.com, covering the New Orleans Saints. In today's video, I just want to talk about the recent transactions that have occurred in regards to several NFL quarterbacks that have gotten significantly huge paydays recently, and how that relates to Derek Carr's contract as it's looking relatively cheaper right now. So a while back when Derek Carr signed his 4 year, $150 million contract, um, with with like 30 million guaranteed, there was a lot of people upset at the Saints organization for signing a quarterback that really didn't achieve anything in regards to playoff appearances, not even none, the Super Bowl appearances. Carr has only been to the playoffs two times in his career. Both appearances resulted in losses. The first time they went to the playoffs, he was the reason why they went to the playoffs, but he didn't play in the game because he was injured. Second time it was a close game, but the result was a loss. And a lot of people had an issue with the Saints paying Carr that contract at the time. And fast forward to July 2024, that contract very looking very cheap by the moment. Like it's now that the Saints are getting a bargain of that deal. Now, based on what we see right now, based on the top quarterbacks getting paid right now. Joe Burrow, you got Joe Burrow at the top, 55 million, Trevor Lawrence, 55 million. Tua Tagovailoa just got paid on Friday, 53.1 million. Jared Goff, 53 million. Justin Herbert, 52.5 million. Lamar Jackson, 52 million. Jalen Hurts, 51 million. Those are the top paid quarterbacks in the NFL right now. And Derek Carr's $30 million guaranteed is nowhere on the list right now. It's just not. You know what I'm saying? And the Saints, Mickey Loomis, regardless of what people say about Mickey Loomis, the guy is smart. The guy is smart. And you just can't look at when these players sign these contracts, you can't look at it, you know, from perspective of all the teams waste money on a player at that given time. Because just because you sign a contract now, that's because that contract looks expensive now. That doesn't mean it's gonna look like that down the road. Because the market is the market right now. Quarterbacks are getting paid a record set type money, and that's because they pay these guys on potential. These guys are getting paid strictly off of potential, and some of these guys have accomplished a lot more than Carr, outside of, I would say, Trevor Lawrence and maybe Tua. Tua Tagovailoa to me is a really good quarterback. Um, where else were the Dolphins going to turn to? You know, so he was deserving of that money. He's the best. To me, he's the best quarterback that they've had since Dan Marino. The best. That's a long time ago. Jared Goff, we know about his resume. Been to the playoffs, been to the Super Bowl, even though he shouldn't have won because of the no call. Justin Herbert, he's only been to the playoffs one time in his career. Lamar Jackson's resume speaks for itself. Jalen Hurts' resume speaks for itself. Now, as for Carr, in regards to Derek Carr, the Saints are getting a bargain out of that contract. The Saints are getting over big time on Derek Carr's contract. You know, it's just that simple. Um, can they and based on how he performs, This is what Derek Cole might get in the future. I don't think he's because around the same time next year, around the same time next year, these salaries are going to be up in the 60s. Dak Prescott is going to be the first. I think Dak Prescott, $60 million quarterback. And I don't think Derek Carr at his age around to where up echelon of top NFL quarterbacks. Can he get the Saints back into consistent Super Bowl contention? Team dominate the division as it once did under Drew Brees, plain and simple. Can they get back to that? Can they get back to being that type of team? This contract with Derek Carr is on right now can open things up. It can. This is not a all of a sudden. This is not a back breaking type of contract right now. Even though the Saints are hung up in dead money, they still are. They don't get that twisted. They're still hung up in dead, but now you have to show some potential to even be considered a that type of getting because quarterbacks like Zach Wilson, he didn't get the type of money. You know, Baker Mayfield, Carolina Panthers, things didn't work out. Went to the Rams, Bay Buccaneers, got them to the playoffs, but he still is not gonna get he is still not gonna get that type of money that we see up here right now. He's not gonna get that type of money. It's just that simple. So I think that you know, if Derek Carr has to get an extension, if Derek Carr gets another payday from the Saints, I think it's going to be what we see right now. Next year and 2 years from now, 53 million, $55 million, contracts, guaranteed $50 million guaranteed contracts to quarterbacks are going to be cheap. Because with the streaming money coming in, all these extra funds, all these extra revenue opportunities for the NFL, streaming deals with Amazon, Netflix, Peacock, Amazon Prime, Peacock, Netflix. That money, sports betting now, those salaries are only gonna escalate. After a while, we're gonna have our first ever $70 million quarterback. So it's gonna balloon up every year. So I wouldn't be if you're a Saints fan listening to this video, I won't be all too upset about Derek Carr's contract. Now, the thing is, Derek Carr is, I believe, 33 years old. The Saints need to have, hopefully, Jay Hayner or Spencer Rattler is capable enough of taking over if Derek Carr, does not work out. Because that's where the real value is at. The real value is in having a young quarterback play on a relatively cheap rookie deal. And not just play on a cheap rookie deal, but produce on that cheap rookie deal. Have this team fight for playoff spots. Have the Saints contending for a Super Bowl, if possible, on those cheap rookie deals. Because that's how a team is able to go out and pay offensive linemen, really good offensive linemen, pay running backs, pay wide receivers. That's what's going on in San Francisco right now. That's the only reason why Christian McCaffrey got that extra 2 years, the extra 2 years worth $19 million added to this contract. Is because you're not paying Brock Purdy. But it's gonna come to an end though, eventually. Because Brock Purdy, like I said, is gonna become, I think, one of the first ever. He may become between him and Dak Prescott is going to become the first ever $60 million quarterback. He just is, you know. So they have to. That's why it's going to be this upcoming season for them is going to be imperative. It's going to be crucial. Compete for a championship. Now, hopefully, the Saints can have one of those type of quarterbacks waiting in the wings if they ever decide to move off of Derek Carr. Hopefully, thanks to the playoffs, goes to the Pro Bowl. They're gonna try to double down on Derek Carr, keeping Derek Carr a lot longer. Now, Derek Carr is not gonna want more money. I think Deuces in this new system goes to the Pro Bowl, have the Saints compete for championships. He's gonna want a lot more money. But at his age, are you gonna really, give him $60 million? You know, I think he's gonna get what we see right now. I think he's gonna be a $50 million quarterback, and that's going, like I said, going down the road. That's gonna look a lot cheaper. It's gonna look very cheap down the road. But right now, 50 to 55 million is the going rate for a quarterback, for a really good NFL quarterback. You know, so we just gotta wait and see how it all gonna play out, man. But the Saints have a bargain right now in that contract for Derek Carr. They have an out. There's a potential out after 2025. But like I said, if the Saints are competing for playoff berths, Super Bowls, I expect Derek Carr to be here a lot longer. But the thing is, guys like Spencer Rattler and Jay Hayner needs to be ready to take over if possible. And that way, we're not flapping in the winds when it comes to trying to find another quarterback. So we'll see. All right, so I have for y'all for right now, man. Give me a like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Let me know how you feel. What are your thoughts on the Saints? Having a relatively cheap contract with Derek Carr right now, based on what has transpired with these quarterbacks getting paid 50 to 55 million. And also check out SportsView, DrakeSixers.com/Saints for latest content of the One Saints organization. Have a blessed day. Peace. I'm out.